okay? How hard is that for me to document and move forward with? So instead, rather than just asking for opinion, and because I don't have my own administrator, I'm going to ask the question using a slide. And maybe before I ask it, because you're my team, I'm going to ask you some questions and we're going to have some discussion about what we did last year, how quickly we made decisions, how long we took implementing them, did we make good decisions, so on and so forth, right? And now what's happening is you're telling me what you truly believe is what typically costs more, and you're 81% of you are saying the implementation of our decision, right? So not only did I get to document the head nodding and get you focused, that you all agree that this is the issue, because I'm sure that the people in the back had a hard time seeing who was actually participating in the front, right? Now I've got my team focused, and my team is focused on implementation. Now you've all been bellyaching about the time that it prepares to ask a question and create a slide or prepare for a meeting, but yet we need to understand that we're getting measured on the results of our decisions, not the actual decision. We're getting measured on the results of managing those decisions to success, not the actual decision we made. So with a technology like an audience response system, you can clearly bring it into your session to not only get people focused, but to very quickly capture the results of the meeting of the team and get it documented so that you can get everybody focused on what should be the priority here. Successful implementation should be the priority, right? So let's make sure we're using the right tools to make good decisions. Okay, here's our everyday meeting. So what I want to do is do just a little bit of a role play here, and then we're going to use TurningPoint, one of the features called Ranking Wizard. How many people in the room have ever heard of Ranking Wizard? Okay, so this is really a very cool tool that we use all the time in our company. We have used it to take a team of 20 people and literally hundreds of attributes that should be going into the product, and in a matter of 60 minutes, build consensus as to which attributes are the most important to integrate into the product. And you could only imagine you've got marketing in the room, you've got sales in the room, you've got customer service in the room, you've got all these different agendas in the room, how difficult that might be to do. So we use it for product development, we use it for product design, we use it for how we construct advertising campaigns and things like that, and you'll see very soon how this works. This everyday meeting is the department has just been given $20,000 to spend on one lecture hall. So you want to tuck that away in your head. In general, the donor says, there really is no objective. I just wanted to have something fun. You know, we hear that all the time, right? However, the donor has said there are 3 stipulations in how you spend the money. 1, must be an innovative idea, right? 2, must be a visual improvement. 3, must be appealing to the majority of the students, right? So now we know how much money we're going to spend, which is often the case, or how much money we have available to us. We have some attributes of who the stakeholder is and what we need to do to keep them happy so that they give us $20,000 again next year, right? Our diversified team in this room consists of students and faculty, and I'll break you into your demographics here in a minute. And this is our very first team meeting, but we're still going to make a decision before we leave the room, okay? So the first thing I want to know is, are you a student or are you faculty? For the sake of our exercise today, everyone on the left, you're students. Everyone on the right, you are faculty. So please select the appropriate. So stepping out of the meeting process, what I'm doing right now is I'm preparing what I'm calling a demographic. This is a demographic slide. So now when I go to present the results of how we're going to spend the $20,000, not only can I present a consensus, but I can also tell interested parties exactly what the students thought of the ideas and what the faculty thought about the ideas. And again, I'm documenting it as I move through the process. So here's our results. So that's our split. Now, I have another question for you. Regardless if you're a student or faculty, we have 3 halls that are under consideration to spend this $20,000. And so I want you to just randomly pick which hall you think it should be. Hall A, B, or C. They're all used for different purposes and different reasons. And there we go. So we've now decided that we're focusing on Hall B as the place that we're going to spend our $20,000. And it's now time to make our decision. We need to select one of these 3 items. 1, a disco ball. Okay? This is a really good disco ball for $20,000. This is the ultimate disco ball, right? Surely it will get every student there on time for the whole class week after week, right? Lazy boy chairs. Could be good, right? Yeah, it depends on your lecture. You don't want them sleeping now, do you, right? Spin Doctor DJ, right? Periodically throughout the lecture, we just wake them all up with a little rapping going on and a little... Okay? So these 3 things are the ideas that we're going to select from. Now, what we need to do is evaluate these 3 against the donor's 3 criterion, right? And it must be an innovative idea, must be a visual improvement, must be appealing to the majority of students. Now, just imagine if we were all at a big conference room table as big as this, and I said, okay, what do we do now? And all of a sudden, everybody started to have their opinions, right? I love the disco ball. You know, oh, we can't do a disco ball. Blah, that's the worst idea. You know, how many people have experienced the killer idea, you know, the guy who always wants to kill every good idea, right? We call those torpedoes, especially if it came from you and I launched my torpedo. It's just, does he ever participate again? Well, it depends on his personality. I don't know him, but most likely not, right? Or we got the guys that have the grenades. And the grenades, I just toss into the middle of the room and just blow this whole meeting apart. And I become the bad apple, right? Ever been to a meeting with a bad apple? Right. Well, I'm not interested in hearing from the person that is going to launch either of those 2 items. What I'm interested in hearing from is all 42 people in the room, all 15 people in the room, all 6 people in the room on this idea on how to spend the $20,000. Without political agenda and swaying others to your vote, without storytelling, war stories, whatever, I just want to know what you think. But it's even more complicated because I need to rank 3 potential solutions against 3 criterion. We're going to use the ranking wizard to do that. So, visually, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go through a series of slides. I think it's 10 slides or 9 slides. 10. The 10th is the results. There'll be 9 question slides where I will say, disco ball. Is it innovative? Disco ball. Is it visual? Disco ball. Is it appealing? Then we'll go lazy boy. Is it innovative? Lazy boy. Is it visual? So on. Got it? Okay? You're going to use your response cards to make your selection. Oh, real quick. The lower the score, the least or the further away it is from an improvement to the facility, right? The higher the score, if you, for example, if you thought this disco ball would not only be a fun thing, but an improvement to the facility, then you want to give it a 5. Any questions? Does that make sense? Okay. And so just so you know, one of the things that I was not able to do, because this receiver, I didn't want to run polling and change everything. It's set to 250, but with the ranking wizard, I could have actually counted, and when I get the last response, it automatically goes to the next slide. That fast. So literally, we have done this with like 60 slides, and everybody's sitting in the room. There's really not a whole lot of talking because we've already set the stage of what the attributes mean. And literally, everybody's sitting there voting. When the last person votes, boom, next slide. Boom, next slide, right? So I'm just going to watch, and around 2021, I'm going to click to the next slide. Improvement to facility, lazy boy chairs. Low or high?